Well, the only thing I know, Araka says, is that even before I got banned from the magical plane, the fox seems to have taken a great interest in the animals that lived here in Varathia. They are much more intelligent than the animal on the other continents for some reason. And from what I've heard, the fox always talked about how unfairly these animals from Varathia were being treated on the earthen plane. I'm not sure when she decided to come here, but from what I can tell, she must have made a pact with all the animals and plants and animals from the region, so they would join together in some sort of symbiotic relationship that would help her maintain a physical body in exchange for her offering them protection. I don't really have much no more than that, since I've been trapped in a mountain since while all of this was happening. So I say, getting back to your exile from the magical plane, you know why the gods and the other powerful spirits decided to also ban the other female spirits, not just you? Waraka says it's because I was only absorbing female spirits from the so-called civilized races, which made them think that there was something dangerous about the others too, that they could turn out like me if I left alone for too long. In reality, the only reason why I was absorbing just these types of spirits was because they were the only ones that had aura similar enough to mine for me to absorb them. Given that I am an elf, there is nothing special about the spirits I was absorbing. The danger of someone coming up with the same absorption techniques as I did is still there, even after they threw us all out, but I wouldn't expect them to invent anything similar anytime soon. They are way too stupid to come up with a spell that's so complex on their own. Wait, you're an elf? I ask her. Of course I'm an elf. What did you think I was? Well, I don't know. I say I always kind of figured the banshees were their own race. I didn't really give it much thought until now. Banshees aren't a race, Arca says. It's just a name that was given to us by the locals after we got banished from the Earthen Plains, to the Earthen Realm. You can clearly tell what our races are from our aura. Seriously, how bad is your magical sense anyway? Luna is an elf too, but I bet you didn't know that either, did you? Petal's an elf? Flower asked, shocked. Why are you acting so surprised? Luna says. You have a clear image of how I look inside your mind. Don't tell me that this is the first time you noticed my pointy ears in the past 2 decades. Oh, I've noticed them, Flower says, but I always figured that this was just the way I imagined you. It didn't have anything to do with the way you really looked. So I say, you're telling me that we have been treating you too as if you were part of a monster race, but all this time you were in fact elven spirits. Yes, that's what we are saying, Iluna says. It never ceases to amaze me just how bad these people are at reading auras, Araka says. No wonder they still haven't figured out that why their women can be born as mages after all this time. If they can't even tell our races apart, then they have no chance of figuring it out by themselves. Did you? I say, but I thought for a few moments to rearrange my thoughts. Did you just imply that reason why women cannot be born as mages on our earthen plane is directly related to your exile from the magical plane? Wait, what? Did you just imply that the reason why women cannot be born as mages on our earthen plane is directly related to exile from the magical plane? How did you even gather that from that? After hearing my last sentence, Kate, who didn't seem to be paying very close attention to our conversation until now, finally turned her head towards us. She is now watching us intently. So you finally figured it out, eh, Barry boy? Araka says. What is it that tipped you off? Is it perhaps the fact that all of the banshees are practically humanoid female spirits, or maybe the fact that female animals and monsters can still cast magic while your women are completely unable to do it unless they have auras, unless their auras have been drastically altered? Oh, or maybe it's the fact that women only gain magic when they're possessed by banshees. That's a pretty big hint if you ask me. Hell, you even had Flower as an example. Her element is fire, while Luna's element is magic. It's clear that she didn't just inherit the magic from Luna, right? Didn't it ever occur to you that in order to channel that energy from the magical plane, you need to actually create a link with a magical spirit that is at least somewhat similar to you in nature? You didn't seriously think that you could just pull that energy out on your own without some sort of magical spirit to act as a funnel for you, did you? So I say, what you're saying is that every one of the mages on the earthen plane is in fact linked with the spirit from the magical plane. Well, yes, but it's not like either of them is doing it consciously, Araka says. So that's what it means. The reason why women cannot become mages is because all the female spirits were like thrown out of left out of heaven. They were thrown out of the magical plane. And so while the male spirits are still there, so they are subconsciously making contact with the earthen counterparts of theirs, earthen males of the various species, of course. They are making contact with them subconsciously, and that's why males have magic. Then what does it mean, like the males that are without magic, like Barry? Well, Barry's a Lasetti, so let's ignore him. But there are males out there that cannot use magic, right? So what about them? They were not compatible with any of the spirits. But this makes sense that all the female spirits were pushed out of the magical planes. Of course, the women cannot use magic, even though they have inherent like powers. They have their own elements or whatever. Now the spirits that were linked to ever noticed that this is the rest of their lives, but you cannot link yourself unconsciously with a spirit anymore if all of the spirits with similar auras to you are here on the other plane instead. You can still try to cast magic through other means, sure, but then your aura would need to become completely different, like that of the Stillwater girl, for example, or that of your friend with the ice magic. But how did these spirits manage to exile you to a completely different plane of existence, I say? Surely can't have been as simply as just throwing you out, locking the door behind you. Well, the exile was Memphir's idea, from what I've heard, Araka says. He always did have a talent to come up with crazily elaborate plans like these, even though only half of them actually usually worked out in his favor in the end. Memphir is the god of fate, right? I say, yes, the one with the illusions, Araka says. I'm not sure how he came up with the idea, or how did he manage to actually convince so many spirits to follow his plan. But what he basically did was to mess with the whole system that is in charge of assigning spirits to the magical plane. They reprogrammed it in a way that assigns female spirits of the civilized races to the earthen plane instead. But that wouldn't throw the spirits that were already in the magical plane out. You can do that? I say, well, obviously it's not easy, Araka says, when you need and you need a tremendous amount of energy to pull it off, even if you figure out how to do it. But the master managed to rally enough of the spirits on their side to actually get the job done. So why didn't you just change it back to how it was after they sent you here, I say? Shouldn't you have more than enough energy to do it after absorbing all those spirits? I can't do it from here, Araka says. That's why we're stuck. If I were to undo everything Memphir and his crew did, I'll need to access Magium directly, and I can't do that from the earthen plane. The Magium? I ask her. Well, not really the Magium, Araka says. You get what I mean? No, I say I don't actually. You know, Araka says, I'm talking about the part of the Magium that specially deals with the creation of magical spirits and sends them to the magical plane. You know how it works. Oh, that's what's happening. So Magium is not just like some material that's like magically makes you a mage. What Magium is doing is that one of the properties of Magium is to create a magical spirit. So if you use the Magium on yourself, you will create a magical spirit and then send it to the magical plane, and once the spirit is connected to you, now you can use magic. That's what this is. And if a mage already has like a connection with a spirit and then he uses it, it probably makes another spirit and then sends that spirit to the the magical plane, and then now he has two spirits attached to him, so obviously he has more power and maybe like proficiency with other like elements of nature. That's very cool. You know how it works, right? Spirits aren't made to reproduce, even if they're split into male and females like you are here on the earthen plane. That's why there's this sort of nest or whatever you call it within the Magium that makes sure to pump out new spirits to send them to the magical plane after the old ones die, in order to have roughly the same amount of spirits in the magical plane at any given time. Except these bastards managed to change the way it works. As soon as they were done tampering with the nest, it even sent the ones of us who were already there to the earthen plane, not to mention all the new ones that were created after that. And even from Varathia, the only parts of the Magium that I can access are the ones that I don't need, not to mention all the new ones that were created after that. And even from Varathia, the only parts of the Magium that I can access are the ones that I don't need. So the material of Magium that exists on this with the earthen plane is different from more, like it's probably like different parts of Magium that they need. And like, let's say there are 3 parts, for example. So let's say 2 of them are on Earth and 1 of them are up there, maybe. Other parts of the Magium, I say confused. I don't get it. Just how big is this Magium exactly? Wasn't it supposed to be some sort of powerful artifact that's only found here in Varathia? Arka takes a long break before she speaks again, during which we all wait for answer in silence. She says, struggling to find her words, did you just ask me how big the Magium is? Yeah, that's what I said. I always imagined Magium to be like a rock or something, like a clay ball. I always thought of it as a clay ball or something, like it's a material to use and you like use it and then it like evaporates and like, combines with you or something. That's what I was imagining. I didn't expect it to be a device or whatever. Yeah, that's what I said. I say, after another short pause, Araka suddenly begins to laugh louder than she ever laughed before. She keeps on for about 10 seconds before she speaks again. Hey, Araka says, while she's almost out of breath from laughing. Hey, Luna, did you hear what he said? He asked how big the Magium is. And stop laughing, damn it, I say as I finally snap. Tell me what you know about the Magium. Araka says, you came here to fight for the Magium, but you don't even know what it is. Oh man, that's rich. I'd be crying from laughter if I weren't living in an amulet without a body. I can't believe you people. You actually came here without even knock it off. I tell her, are you going to tell me what the Magium is or not? Araka ignores me completely. She just keeps laughing and laughing without giving signs of planning to stop anytime soon.